I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it anymore.
Why not?
I don't know. Just maybe like I was trying to be like intense, like in thought sound.
That's a good point. I feel like this podcast is slowly turning into like something that's like serious things being talked about with lighthearted tones.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
It's like real world shit, you know.
And with that being said, that intro probably doesn't do that 100% justice because it sounds like we're gonna come in here on like a Dr. Phil episode, but with none of the satire.
That's like sadder than Dr. Phil. That's what that reminds me of. It's like a really depressing episode of Dr. Phil.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're watching Forensic Files and they just bring some shit down out of nowhere that you're like, oh, you said that so nonchalantly. What do you mean they committed arson with the whole family? And
Yeah.
like,
That's fine.
I gotta stop breathing on this fucking thing.
It's hard to do.
I know.
You want to be right up on it?
I kind of want to be on it.
Oh, anyway, welcome back, folks.
Oh, no.
We're back with my nephew Devlyn, and again, close friend of mine. Today, he wants to share some rather unique stories from growing up and unique experiences. So things are going to get a little dicey in here today, but it's going to be fine. And I'm interested. I'm interested to see what kind of feedback we get, if any. People,
it would be interesting.
people enjoyed your stories, your first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've only had good feedback thus far.
I want to state that when I was saying when I was talking about the people on the bigger side of the scale, I did not mean to sound so attacking towards them.
Oh, when you were what the fuck did you call it?
I called them fat fucks. Passenger assistants.
Passenger assistants. That's the word I was looking for. Fat fucks. Yeah, like he said, we do not discriminate. That was just derogatory and maybe a little bit of alcohol, but
it was may or may not have been influenced by that.
whatever. It happens. Everybody feels a certain type of way, and obviously there was a powerful passion towards that job.
That job sucked. I once again never do that job.
Person assistance. If you see that on the application, run.
Passenger
Passenger
assistance.
not person assistance. I don't know what the fuck.
I mean, you did do that. Either way.
Anyway, so you wanted to share a little bit about certain situations and a little bit of discrimination.
Yeah. Okay. Here, I'm gonna make this.
I also want
I'm gonna add backstory to this too, and why I thought about this.
preface. Preface is good.
Yeah.
But I do also want to emphasize on how it made you feel then and how it makes you feel now.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Because I find that more unique than I do the story, which is fucked up.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
The reflection of it nowadays is,
the reflection means a lot more than just what happens.
and what we were just talking about, kind of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's important.
Like, okay, so just as a preface or a prefix, I over the last weekend, excuse me, I was no, I was just hanging out with some people that were like older, and they kept making like certain jokes, or it wasn't even like jokes. They were just saying certain things that were like uncomfortable for me to be around, and like, you know how I'm like the DJ whenever people come over, I'm like, hey, what do you want to listen to? Do you want to listen to anything?
Yeah.
What do you want me to add on a queue?
You're pretty good about it, too.
Yeah. So I was doing this. There was an old gentleman there, and I played like 4 or 5 songs for him. And I asked him, what don't you like about hip-hop? And he's like, it all sounds the same. I'm like, all right, well, can I show you something that you've definitely never heard of before?
Mm-hmm.
So I played Lil Darky, Holocaust. Because that is the most aggressive thing you could ever play.
100%.
And if you wanted something that was going to be as aggressive as possible, that's what I played.
I was going to say, that I bet you this doesn't sound like anything, bitch.
Yeah, he told me it sounds like Weird Al Yankovic. So...
Well, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, he was just being extremely disrespectful about it. So
Sounds like it.
my song got voted to skip it. So I put another one of my songs on queue. And then it was even worse than that one.
Where was this?
At my house. Or not my house, my mom and dad's house.
Was I there?
No.
This was the weekend after Super Bowl.
Yes.
So I was not there.
But he got so angry that I played another song that was rap that he left. And
Good.
That reminded me Because I got so pissed.
Mhm.
Like I got so heated of the fact that like I just sat here and played like half an hour of your music and you can't listen to one fucking song from me because you just don't agree with anything that this brings with it in any sort of format.
Right.
Like it only out of principle. It had nothing to do with the fact that he did kind of like some of the lyrics. It was the fact that he just didn't appreciate that it was not what he wanted. And it that makes me feel bad, like all the time. Like just the fact that like, because I'll listen to every other song, every other genre. I'll give everything a chance. I don't really care. But once you attack like that, because music is very cultural, and the fact that like you just can't handle another person's culture like that,
Mm-hmm.
then like why do you? It's just rude and disrespectful in every way.
Do I know this guy?
No,
Okay.
no, you don't know this guy.
Before I open my mouth farther,
No, it's like a 65-year-old biker dude.
that type of shit, in my opinion, if you can't be diverse enough and respectful enough to at least shut the fuck up and deal with it for a minute when everybody
Yeah.
else is doing it for you,
Yeah.
then you may as well not even leave the fucking house. Stay your ass inside.
Well, it's just like it's just because of the fact that like when you're asking someone to do something and then like you just don't want to return the favor because you just don't
Right.
like
That's a slap in the face.
yeah, like okay, so like for instance at work, hold on, that was the prefix. Let's not go work our way backwards. Let's. That's what made me think of this whole topic.
Preface. Got
Was
it.
because I was extremely angry and I thought I'm not gonna flip out right now. I'm just gonna like calm down, kind of get like my thoughts straight,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have this platform to which I can just vent out.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that's what I was gonna do.
That works.
So like, I think the easiest way for me to think about all of it is like, from the beginning, like growing up, like from my earliest memories. Like I do just remember like people staring at my mom differently, like when we were going to the mall or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Even from like when I was like super young, always seeing like security everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought about it. I always just thought that there was always security everywhere. Security was just meant to follow you and watch you. And I never like put two and two together. And I also went to a lot of like more Latin-based schools. And so like I had a lot of teachers telling me like, "Oh, I'm one of the hard workers," or "I'm one of the," or like, are you a fighter or do you like to play sports or like stuff like that? Like just always like little questions trying to figure out if I'm like a bad kid or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was always a hardworking kid, but that's just because I was told to be a hardworking kid by my parents, not because I don't know. I saw my dad working hard all the time, so I just assumed you work hard all the time.
Right. That's what we do.
Yeah, I'm a hard worker. I get shit done. While all of that was going on, I never thought about it any sort of way. I always just thought I was better than everyone else around me because, I actually turned my stuff in on time,
Mm-hmm.
unlike them over there. And then like doing all that, I didn't realize that, and I didn't realize that until 7th grade, when I started noticing that like teachers definitely like would put me away from certain kids, and like I would sit around a lot, so they would try to integrate as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
But like I did notice that like a lot of white kids would stay like closer towards the teacher, like their seats were closer towards the teacher, or
Interesting.
they were like closer to the, like a lot of like minorities were like somewhere like away from that.
Mm-hmm.
There was always like one of like the random white bad kid that was like in the mix of all of them, but it was like dominantly like they're all over there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I naturally was trying to be friends with all the white kids because they seem to have a better time.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of my friends growing up were just white. I had a couple of black friends, I had a couple of Mexican friends, but overall, like, Yeah, I think like 80% of my friend base growing up was white because they were just always like, they seemed to always be able to get away with more. And I wasn't a bad kid, but I also didn't like getting in trouble. So I would just stay with them.
That's fucking bizarre, man. I never would have guessed that, especially at that age or in that setting, there would be anything noticeable. I'm so blind to this shit. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was blind to it until like a few years ago. Like, I didn't realize. Damn.
That was a heavy cup set. Sorry.
I didn't realize until I was like 22, 23.
Go ahead.
And, sorry, I'm burping a lot right now.
We're both dying. We're struggling right now. The sounds and the movements.
I know, it's terrible. No, I think the first time I realized it was when I was in 7th grade, and in my middle school, I wasn't allowed to have. I was only allowed to have binders. At the beginning of the year, it was closed binders were allowed, like binders with zippers.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the year, it was only open binders, because a kid got stabbed in the locker room or some shit.
Oh, so you can't hide shit in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes somewhat sense.
Sometime in the middle of that year, we had a cop come into the class, and this cop was telling us like how to act towards a cop, which is essentially like put your hands out the windows, when you start driving, take your keys and put them on the dash. All the stuff that, so we don't get shot or mazed, tased, whatever.
Yeah, I'd prefer not to.
And I thought it was kind of weird that they were telling us how to act for the cop. I'm not saying that cops aren't professional, but this cop was not being professional in the way he was telling us how to do all this.
This one particular cop?
Yeah, this one particular cop. And this cop, he kind of got done talking about, like, the times in which steps were taken that were unnecessary because the person didn't react accordingly to the cops.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, like, why... I was in 7th grade. I didn't know any better. I was just confused why I needed to be calm and collected if I had a cop pointing a gun at me. And
it's like, I don't get this situation.
yeah, I didn't understand. So I asked him, like, why do I need to be calm and collected? Because if a gun's pointed at me, I'm not sure I can be calm and collected.
Mm-hmm. It's in human nature to panic.
Yeah. And he just told me because in my experience, I'm not calm and collected. And I'm like, well, that's scary. And
that is terrifying, sir.
He told me, I don't remember like the full conversation that took place. I just remember that I was like telling him that maybe you shouldn't be a cop and this and that. And he ended up telling me, like, and this is when I shut the fuck up because I was like, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm scared. But he told me I treat Mexicans the same way I treat dogs. I'm really nice with dogs until they give me a reason to not be. And that's when...
That's aggressive to say to a 7th grader.
Huh, it's extremely aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just shut the fuck up because...
Yeah, what do you say at that point?
Yeah. Well, the teacher said, okay, we're going to move on from this conversation. And the cop was like, oh, I think we're done here.
Yeah.
And then the cop just left.
I think we're done here too, sir. Fuck, man. That's extremely abrasive and a bold statement.
Yeah, that kind of that kind of set the pace for me for a while when it came to like...
Is that when you were first really open to the idea that this is actually happening?
It opened my eyes that there is a certain amount of like... Because I didn't believe that racism existed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't believe that prejudice was a real thing.
Right.
And when he said that, I was like, oh, maybe there is something to this. Like, maybe I do just have to be nicer. And it also, like... It also reminded me that, like, why I chose to be with whiter friends because of the fact that, like, oh, they don't get in trouble as much. Because I see them doing one thing, and then I see any minority doing the same thing, and the minority gets in trouble for it, but my white friends never did. So I would just hang out with them all the time because it was just easier to be a kid and not worry about anything.
That's such a shitty thing to have to realize, especially growing up.
Well, I didn't realize what it was until 7th grade, and then that's when that cop told me that, and I was because that's a pretty like hardlining moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's gonna
Like-
stick with you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously it did.
But from there, it's like it's always like little things again. Like once again, like oh, you're a hardworking one, or like stuff like that. Just most of my life has been like that. And like if I'm ever like don't want to do something, it's like oh, why you got to be such a lazy Mexican? And like I'll hear stuff like that. Which by the way, I didn't even know I was fucking Mexican for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
Like
that would not have been an average conversation in our family for them to openly and admittedly split us up that way.
no, well in our family, like I was always just told I'm another kid,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really nice. Like even now, like no one in our family really sees that. Like whenever we're hanging out, like yeah, we make the typical jokes, but we all understand that they're jokes and they're behind closed doors, and we're like all just enjoying ourselves.
Mm-hmm. No, we just attack each other on a more personal level.
Oh yeah, yeah, we have the power to make each other cry. Laugh.
Yes. No, not laughing. Just cry.
But yeah, like
It's true.
that hardlining moment was a fucking.
We definitely don't acknowledge color. So for you to have to see that like firsthand and really have an eye-opening moment as a 7th grader, I think that's kind of fucked up.
Well, it definitely started making me look differently at the things around me.
Sure. Well, why
And-
wouldn't it?
Well, I also realized I had to work harder just to get to the same spot everybody else was at. Like, okay, so after 7th grade, the school I went to was a failing school, and I scored in the top 1% of Ames testing.
Boom. If I could drop the mic, I would.
So, thanks to George Bush and the No Child Left Behind Act, I got to go to a richer school. So that's when I started going to school with like all my cousins, like Rain Rivers, Angel, Santana, and all of them, Ryan, all of them, and that school was dominantly a more Caucasian-oriented school. Like, first off, when I went there, they don't lock the fucking gates.
That's a little strange.
It was an open campus. I was allowed to have a backpack.
Not allowed these days.
I didn't have a backpack for like fucking 4 years. I didn't know that was a thing. I forgot about those. Like, and I'm seeing like, okay, so everyone at that school, was wearing American Eagle, Aeropostale. All those like
Is that how you say it?
American Eagle, Aeropostale.
No. Is that one? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
I can never pronounce it.
I mean, I've heard people say it in some crazy ways.
Moving forward.
But-
Sorry about that.
Like Aeropostale, all of those like more higher brands.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was going to school wearing like G Unit and South Pole, and like I had like red and black Hurricane Carisses on.
Yeah, dude.
I was wearing like I've been wearing flannels my whole life. Like this is like that's what I knew and what I've always seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like and that was I didn't realize that was a culture shock until I went there, and I also realized I was only like there's maybe like 25% of the school was Mexican or black or Asian or anything like that, and I was like, this is weird. Like no one listened to rap. That was a really weird thing for me.
I can't stand like it's fuck. I can't get into that. The things that I want to say, I can't say on here. Yeah. So go ahead, move on.
This is also before like everything got integrated. Like this is still like when I think stickdeath.com was still on.
Oh my God, way to take me back.
Yeah, like this is like early. Like I think like dial-up was still being used by certain people.
Dial up. Oh,
Like,
speaking of culture shock, dial up.
but yeah, it was pretty. That was a massive culture shock because everybody would like. That's when I started noticing stairs.
Yeah.
And like it didn't help either because I was on not food stamps but like free lunch programs.
Oh yeah, I grew up on
And-
those, you know.
Yeah, and that was also really confusing because this school has money. Like parents donate to the school to make the school an objectively better looking school,
Right.
and I straight up just like it was weird to me because I've never actually seen that kind of thing, and that it threw me off because I mean I was a Mexican that played the trumpet and I was pretty good at it.
You were fucking pretty good at
And
it.
so oh, sickdeath.com doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I know.
You have to go on YouTube and look up at the Coffee Nova.
God damn it. Anyway, okay.
But who remembers sickdeath.com? But they I remember this one guy. His name was Tristan. He actually, like, the first day I was completely scared, and he heard that I was in band, and he's like, "Hey, if you're playing trumpet, like, how good are you?" I'm like, "Pretty good." He's like, Can you play high C?" I was like, "Yeah, I can play high C." He's like, "Well, you're better than anybody else here, so come on." And he would just like show me around, and like we'd have a bunch of fun and everything. It was a blast. He was a great guy, and in fact, I hope he's doing good now. I haven't talked to him since we graduated, or since college. But
shout out to Tristan.
he would like show me around and everything, and I was just really quiet because I didn't trust anybody. I like, people looked at me a lot. This is also around the time I'm at Stetson. This school's where I'm at Stetson. I told him how like amazing and like how rich this school was, and how I feel so out of place. He's like, I feel out of place too because this school's way worse than the school I went to.
Oh, was this a high school?
This was a middle school. This was 8th grade middle school.
You went there for 1 year? So, okay.
And that 1 year, I eventually was able to be integrated, but there were still like those weird like comments every now and then. And like this is also back when it was like fucking maybe 20 years ago. Everybody would like those comments were still acceptable.
Yeah, things weren't quite as censored.
Yeah, so like hearing like, I remember one time in wrestling, I was starting to lose, and I heard someone yell out, "Hell yeah, I beat that brown boy!" And
seriously?
I beat the kid.
Oh yeah, that would
gave
fuel
me
my
enough,
shit
yeah.
too.
I think the reason why I was as good as I was in wrestling was because there was a lot of channeled anger that I went through, and I don't think I processed any of the anger that I had until later on.
Now I have to ask: is this why you wanted to fight me in the goddamn pool every time I came over?
No, I think I was just an aggressive child.
That's fine. So I used to get aggressively attacked in the pool.
I mean, to be fair, you almost drowned me once.
That's fair. Totally fair. Yeah.
I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
It turns out beating your kids does work. That's a joke.
Kinda. I mean, I threw you around like a fucking rag doll in there.
I always came back, too. It was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that.
I don't know, but it was impressive, to be completely honest with you. Anyway, moving forward.
To be fair, my back is broken now, so I don't know if I could ever fucking do that again.
Yeah, let's not do it. Two grown-ass men beating each other in the pool.
Every time my knee hurts because of, like, the moisture or anything, Dustin asks me if I have strip knee.
It's because of me, man. I get it every time I go to fucking Vegas.
Dude, it's so bad. I get it, though. Like, if I'm walking around a lot, like, thanks to my watch, I noticed that between, like, 10 and 12,000 steps, my knee starts hurting. Like, I can feel the fucking tendon deciding to, like, kind of, like, decide whether or not it wants to stay there. My biggest fear... So, at work, I had these two really big guys behind me. And, like when I say big, like, they need a special scale.
You can't...
And, my knee was hurting really bad, and I turned to, like... I opened the door for them, and I turned, and when I turned, I felt my knee kind of, like, begin to, like, stretch more than it should. And when I felt that, I was like, please don't let it snap from me doing this in front of these two guys.
Today's not the day.
I'm like,
fuck, I was gonna ask you something. You can't take pictures in there, can you?
no, I want to take pictures of what I do, but I can't.
I would love to see your workspace. I try and picture it in my head, and I'm like, I don't fucking know what I'm looking at.
So when I first started working there, it looked like PVC pipes, like, held all of our stuff up. It turns out we just use, like, metal brackets and metal tubes.
How big is your workspace?
I would say like 5 feet in width and 3 feet in length. About
Probably this desk.
a little less wide than this desk, but yeah. I sit on like one side, so I sit on the right side. I got tools up like right there, and then a bunch of like miscellaneous stuff that I need there, and then like a free spot right here that has like all my tools on the bottom.
Interesting.
It's pretty neato. I didn't have to buy any tools, so that makes my job a lot nicer.
Yeah, that helps. Anyway, we got off track.
My bad.
No, it's my fault. I'm fucking ADD today.
That's fair. I feel kind of ADD too, but
It was the sushi.
I just ate some sushi. I just ate some. Oh no. No, they So also shout out to Oh Yeah, that place is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah.
Also, they have a lot of business, so don't go there unless you actually want it. I like that place. Don't ruin it.
Don't fucking ruin it for me.
I don't need it. I don't want to have a reservation when I go there.
Seriously, it pisses me off. We
Yeah.
went to Yen Sushi last night, and we didn't have a reservation, so we had to wait for half an hour. This is fucking first world problems.
Some people can't even get food.
I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I'm gonna shut the fuck up now. Gonna call myself out.
But yeah, no. So like, I didn't notice it that bad because everybody was being really calm about like just saying like, which one of them are you and stuff like that. Just little like. I wouldn't even call it like anything racial. I think it was just more just like a certain type of prejudice that people just didn't know they had.
Mm-hmm.
And which is fine if you're not used to something. I can see how it is. But we live in Phoenix, so it's even more weird. But anyways, in ninth grade when I went to high school, that's kind of the moment where you like see it more because people seem to be more cocky about things.
When you get to high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get to high school, everything changes. Like, everything changes.
No, when I was online, well, first off, everybody knows how online was back in 2010. It was it was the Wild West of freedom of speech and expression.
AOL Messenger?
Yeah.
Yep.
But like, there's a couple of times at school where like a fight would break out, and like that's all you heard was just like it sounded like a Call of Duty chat, and it was fucking wild.
Call of Duty chat.
But I had this coach, good coach, whatever. The guy he knew how to win a fucking championship.
Mhm.
He made sure he did it consecutively. It was weird because he was completely okay saying whatever he wanted to say.
Saying whatever he wanted to say?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Like, the amount of times he told me I was a hard-working Mexican, which...
That's a little dicey for a freshman. It's a little questionable.
Well, it's like, I remember... So, like, I think the best way I can explain it is... Well, first off, the amount of times I got told to go back to my country in high school has definitely exceeded any time that I've ever heard it anywhere else.
Boy, as an adult, don't you just want to run with that one?
Oh, I do.
Well, you dumb shit. I'm from down the street, so...
Well, I just let them know that Mexico used to own this land. Just because you change the borders doesn't mean I have to change with them.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. But none of that was really, like, terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Just because at that time it was just, like, I don't know. Like, I did notice that, like, whenever one of my white friends got in trouble for being lazy, they'd be a lazy piece of shit. But whenever I got in trouble, I was just a lazy Mexican. Like, it was just brushed off, like, well, you're just one of those guys then.
That's such a strange
Yeah.
connection.
It's a weird dismissal of, like...
It really is.
That's what it felt like. When I worked hard, it was just because you were expected to work harder, and when I just didn't want to do something, it was just because I was lazy, and that runs in my culture.
That's a pretty amazing, very inaccurate connection.
Well, yeah, because they're they're the exact opposites of each other.
Historically,
Well,
they're
yeah.
known for working.
Yeah.
They're known for doing the jobs that the white folk don't want to fucking do.
Well, yeah. You wake up early.
The white folk.
The white folk.
Sorry, I don't know what the fuck just happened.
I'm
It's Saturday, guys. I'm sorry. I'm clocked out. I didn't show up today. I should have called in, dude. Yeah, that's super bizarre that anybody would. That's just primarily trying to be disrespectful.
Well, I don't even know if it was being disrespectful or if it was like just the way people thought. Like, because I'm not gonna lie. Like, sometimes I am fucking lazy. It feels good.
Sometimes we're all fucking lazy, Devlyn.
Yeah.
There's not. There's no way that you're going to be able to connect this to a part of your race.
No, it's completely impossible. Also, like the fact that I didn't grow up with race in mind. I just grew up with.
Right.
I mean, I guess we did kind of grow up with a lot of Mexican cultural traits, like between like the way we eat food, which I'm not saying just we eat Mexican food, but I'm just saying like the way we decide to cook food, the way we like the types of spices that we put into our food.
Up until I was 4,
Yeah.
remember that the whole family was from Cali.
Yeah.
So,
And
which is the culture.
yeah, exactly.
So,
And like we grew up with family all around us. We grew up with like all of the positive aspects in which a culture would bring somebody.
we did.
But like we have aspects of every culture because we're just American. We just whatever's the best possible thing for us, we end up clasping onto that. Family's one of those,
Family is definitely one of them.
and that's another thing too. Is because in my freshman year, I went to school with Raina, Rosangel, Santana, Ryan, James, Jasmine. There's like 7 or 8 of us total.
And for the listeners, those are other
Cousins.
Cousins of his and nieces and nephews of mine.
Sorry, I got something in my throat.
They all grew up at very close age range.
You're kind of an outlier.
I'm about 6 years out, 6 or 7 years, depending on who you talk to.
Yeah.
What are you, 29?
I'm 26.
Fucking Christ, I can't keep up with the numbers.
Santana's 29.
Okay, well that number would be 8 for all the listeners. I can't say the R word, so I'm a little slow.
Spectrally challenged.
Oof. Oh, that was worse than the R word.
I can keep coming up with them.
We're not gonna do that.
Okay.
Oh no, it's a joke. So anyway, I keep interrupting. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. No, they So a lot of the times I heard like, God, I guess Mexicans do have a big family. Like just always just little stuff like
the
that.
typical fucking jokes.
Yeah, just the typical things that I've heard most of my life that are just getting like more aggressive. And like I've had teachers say I've had once again, my high school is a lot more diverse. So that was cool. But now I was dealing with like the fact that there's like no middle class people there.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just lower class and higher class.
There's definitely a pretty firm. What's the word? Like a pretty firm line
Yeah.
between really good and really bad.
Well, it's like there's people that would show up with like completely maintenanced MX-8s or RX-8s and Ferraris, and there's a couple of kids that would drive a Lamborghini on the weekends.
Oh my
People with
God.
kids with M3s, kids with the big ass Land Rovers. They're kids with like whatever their dream car was, and then like I had a '97 Ranger. Stetson had a yellow fucking VW Bug because it was his mom's, and that's what he could drive.
My man.
I know.
Poor Stetson.
He drove me around for the longest time. He finally upgraded to an Armada.
I remember the Armada.
The Armada was fun. The Armada, we felt like we were pimping.
Didn't the thing have like 20s on it or something?
It had like 22s on it.
Yeah, dude.
With super low pros.
Deuce.
Fucking 9 miles per gallon.
Ah, my favy.
And they, but like a lot of the, but like that's what I saw. Like I would see 2012 Mustangs that kids drove because that was their 16th birthday gift. Parking next to like seniors that were driving a 97 Fox body that was just dying. And this was also back when Fox bodies weren't that cool.
Yeah.
So like,
And now they're rare.
yeah, and they also cost like $40,000 to fucking buy one that's broken.
That
But,
sounded
like,
personal.
It's very personal. I want one. Even the guy with the fucking Fox body, I still wanted his car back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But, so like not only was that a thing, also it created a weird status divide,
Yeah.
and it didn't make it any better that a lot of the lower income kids were in regular classes or remedial classes, and a lot of the remedial classes are just people that can't speak English, which was also kind of weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the kids that were in the AP classes and all that, honors classes, were all the richer kids.
Do you think that was a factor?
I think there's a large factor in, like, giving your child the opportunity to go to daycare and giving them, like, essentially like an early start to education definitely factors into the fact that, because daycare is expensive. And
It sure is.
when you're able to give your kid better supplies, better opportunities, they're gonna be better off in the long run. And unless the kid just doesn't want to do it, then they're in the regular classes.
Interesting. I can see where that would help in some cases.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. The way we learn in school, it's just increments. So it's just how fast can you master one increment to get to the next increment.
Another useless increment.
Yeah, I don't know. I get paid a lot, so it's not the worst increment. But
You're probably one of the only people that's actually benefited from some of the math courses.
yeah, it's true. But either way, like, honestly, I think the best thing that math does is just help you figure out, like, the next logical problem. So a lot of things that I do going through, like, life is, like, it's kind of like order of operations in math. I just, like, okay, well, that step didn't work, so let's try this process instead. Or, like, all right, so I did this. What's my next thing I gotta do this now?
So you're talking about problem solving.
Yeah, just problem solving.
At its core.
Math has essentially taught me problem solving in day-to-day life. But
I have a hard time relating school to real life.
I've made an effort because I didn't want to feel like I wasted time in my life, and so
Oh, such a wasted fucking 4 years for me.
either way, if you're able, like, if you have more money, you can get your kid to start learning the increments a lot earlier on.
I definitely won't disagree with that. Not necessarily earlier on, but you're not wrong. You do have that option available to you.
Yeah.
And then also, too, if the effort is needed, you can pay for tutors. You can pay for teaching instructors. You can really dial in on how your child learns the best.
Yeah.
And
So
what
like,
he's going to learn, or what he or she's gonna learn.
yeah. So like, if a kid has a problem with like a certain type of English, like I just don't understand how limericks are supposed to work. Well, you can just have a tutor teach them how to do limericks on the side, and then everything else just seems to make a little bit more sense because of learning that one specific thing.
I could see that.
But that's the thing, tutors are expensive, and you can go to school and get tutoring, but that's only for like an hour, and it's only on certain things. It's not for like a specified thing. If you have the ability to give your kid essentially whatever they need to in order to work, as long as they're gonna work for it, the kid has unlimited possibilities.
This admittedly is not something I'm very knowledgeable in.
It's something I was. So I did have a problem in a couple of courses, and I thank God YouTube existed. I just went on YouTube and I watched like Khan Academy. I watched Khan Academy nonstop.
What's that?
Khan Academy is so like when I was doing physics.
You took physics?
I took 3 years of physics.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop you right there. And before we get into the rest of this conversation, I'm gonna go grab another beverage because
That's cool because I gotta go potty.
you took fucking physics. Are you shitting me right now?
3 years of physics.
God damn it, Mom!
Oh yeah, no. When
The fuck?
when people tell me about flat Earth, it pisses me off on like an existential level.
Oh God. Okay.
And you know what their excuse is? I've been indoctrinated into the educational system, and that's why I don't understand.
Dear Lord, you're deeper in this than I ever realized. Okay, he's educated. BRB. We're back. That's my fault. I got a new beverage. I got some anger out. We're not talking about physics no more because he's an asshole.
So essentially, just like
Gonna slide that one right in there.
So essentially, just like most of my high school is essentially like just in that format, like just subtle things every now and then. I'm pretty sure I had a teacher that didn't want to teach me. This was like in senior year. So in band, no one gave a shit because in band, you're a dot and you just need to get to your dot. And if you can get to your dot, then that's all that anyone cares about.
It's weird when you separate like art, that kind of blurs over everything else.
Well, like art and sports, I enjoyed the entire time because no one cared.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is
If
when
you did your job, that's it.
exactly when you integrate in that form, nobody gives a flying fuck.
Yeah, and it was absolutely amazing.
But
So like,
because I was in band too, and
yeah,
diverse.
yeah. So like, let's see. In high school, I did band, cross country, track, and wrestling. And those were the times where I felt completely good
Mm-hmm.
because I never like got in. There's never any like negative comments on there. In wrestling, my coach kind of would get a little racy, but a fucking old white guy.
There's always that old white guy at every school that
Yeah,
like
he
says
was-
some questionable shit.
It wasn't questionable. He would say the N word sometimes.
All right.
But senior year, everything kind of seemed to like level out a little bit because in 2014, I think everybody started being like more sensitive to the fact that like
That's so crazy. I keep forgetting that you were that far behind. Well, not behind, but that far. Yeah,
we're that far separated from each other in terms of school.
2006.
Yeah,
So things were a lot different.
yeah. Because in 2006, I think I was in 6th or 7th grade
Mm-hmm.
when like Low Life Low Rider came
And
out.
we barely had cell phones.
Yeah, I had a cell phone in 3rd grade.
Oh.
No, that's a lie. I had a cell phone in 7th grade,
So
6th or 7th.
that's only because
Sixth grade.
that's only because of your mom.
Well, I had a cell phone in 6th grade because I was 12 years old and I was walking home by myself, so they needed a way for me to contact me.
I had to meet you some of those days.
Mhm.
Do you remember that? Yeah, I used to go walk with you.
It's because I was a little shit.
I don't know why the fuck they'd make me walk that far. I was a fat child.
Probably because you were a fat child.
Like, go meet Devlyn. I'm like, that is so far.
Well, to be fair,
Literally half a mile down the road.
It was like 10 streets down.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, dude.
It was a 20-minute walk, but
What
it felt
the
like
fuck?
it felt like such a long walk.
It was such a long walk. Okay, now that we've sulked on that for a minute.
But yeah, like senior year wasn't that bad. It died down a lot from freshman year to senior year because I think the school itself took a lot of steps to stop a lot of that.
In 2014, man, things were really. I think it was like 2012 when things really like took a big turn to like for the.
Yeah, where inclusion and equality was actually becoming an actual like thought process
Thank
in everyone's
you.
minds.
Yeah.
And I saw it.
Like it's time to start highlighting.
My junior and senior year were a lot more pleasant than my freshman and sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And then but with that being said, like no, not even with that being said, that was an amazing time. Now when I started driving, that's when everything got fucking terrible. That's what the original thing was that I wanted to bring up. SB 1070. SB 1070 is the law that stated
Oh, I remember that. If you look a
like
certain way,
if you look like a foreigner, you can be stopped for any reason, and which I get pulled over for like my taillight's out or you didn't turn completely into your lane when you made that right hand turn, or are you in this neighborhood?
yeah,
Or do you live in this neighborhood? No. Well, then why did you turn into this neighborhood?
because I saw flashing lights.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened to me. But there's a point. So during SB 1070, I would get pulled over at least once a month. And a lot of the times, because I was driving a Ford Ranger with no fucking AC in it, so my windows were down. I had long hair and a goatee. I was fucking feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to music kind of loud. My favorite thing to do, this is part of my problem. My favorite thing to do is what I used to go to Scottsdale,
Mm-hmm.
like Scottsdale Fashion Center and all that, and I would just blast music, and I would like to scare the white folk.
You said
And-
it too, the white folk.
So okay,
Great.
wait, there's a difference here. So, not between the way you and I said it. I mean, there's a difference between like everyone else and then the white folk. Like, I don't know how to say that without contradicting everything I've already said.
Right.
But there's a certain amount of like, let's not go into that one.
Are you referring? I can venture off correctly if you're talking about the specific type of people that are in Scottsdale.
Yeah, like the
So there seems to be this.
People that think that when you hear a police helicopter, the world's about to end.
Those people blow my mind, and those people come in all shape, size, and color.
My girlfriend works in Scottsdale, and she hates working with them.
There are people, and this blows me away, that are so oblivious to like real life. These are the people you're talking about. They're so oblivious to anything that's outside of their little fucking bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And we should probably not get into that conversation either, because
That's another conversation altogether.
Yeah.
That's just a rant.
that is just a rant.
And that rant can easily last another hour.
This episode might be the beginning of the death of me.
Maybe not. I'm talking about a very dicey subject, and I'm trying to be as like...
We've continuously dabbled in dicey, so...
Well, I'm trying my hardest to like...
For anybody that would still be listening at this point, if you haven't already shut it off, just so we're clear and open, neither of us are racist, sexist, or anything else that you would consider truly offensive.
Fuck you, dude. Do you? That whatever makes you happy and whatever you want to do, do it. Just don't make other people feel bad for wanting to do what they do.
Your experience, though, just because you look brown, blows my fucking mind.
Oh, no, these are all little things. Once SB 1070 happened, like, outside of high school is the first time I got called the N-word. That's something I learned.
That's a little backwards.
Yeah. That's something I learned is if you're not white, you just get called the N-word. You're just an N-word.
Sweet. This is news to me.
Yeah, it was news to me, too. I was 18 years old. I was like, did you just... What?
Yeah. Hey, man. I don't know if you know this.
Like, it was fucking... I have been called... That's the weird thing, too. Outside of high school, something weird happened in 2015 and 2016 where it just got... I know what it was.
Never mind, I figured it out.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. It's also around the time where actually, once I turned 21, I started carrying a gun because it was during that time where, like, going to Walmart was getting kind of dicey because people would just be completely, like, openly racist.
There was definitely a point in time where people got a little fucking crazy. For any reason.
I don't want to say the reasoning because there's a lot of blue-collar people that listen to this, and they wouldn't really appreciate the reason.
This topic... no. The demographic in which we are speaking of, I think, is unique to Arizona. And I only say that because of our I feel like I'm pretty accurate when I say that we have in this state probably more freedoms than just about any other state.
Oh no, we our gun laws are more lax in Texas and Florida.
I'm talking about a lot of things, not just gun laws. But,
but that's a good indication of like.
But gun laws are you can have a gun in your pocket. You don't need a concealed carry.
No, when you're driving around, you just need it not on your physical persons.
Not even true. Not even true.
As long as you can't easily access it.
That's also not true. When I got my DUI, my gun, along with 3 other mags, were in my cup holder.
Hold up, because I want you to know right now that over a suspicion of a stolen vehicle, I've been pulled over and handcuffed to the side of the road and got my car searched. And then they let me go. This was after I got pulled over 3 times in 1 week. The first time was over suspicion of a DUI in which I had to take a breathalyzer test, and the cop was like, I know you're not drinking, but you didn't have your lights on, so I pulled you over. The second time
At least he was honest.
The second time was because it was suspicion of a DUI in the middle of the daytime because I didn't have my blinker on long enough to switch lanes.
Oh, the 200 feet?
Yeah, I waited like 50 feet. There was no one fucking around. I just turned it on, looked, and went.
Right.
And the third time, they pulled me over because, why'd you turn to this neighborhood? And I'm like, I've been pulled over twice this week. I want to go home and I'm tired. Can you just
be a decent dude for a minute?
Yeah, so I got handcuffed on the side of the road for 45 minutes and my car got searched. That was a fun time.
Sweet.
I've been handcuffed a few times. The first time I got pulled over by a cop, I was going 85. And it was like going down a hill. It was going on an off ramp. I actually remember exactly where it was. I was turning off of the 101 I was on the 101 off ramp towards the 51 South. I just had to get off on Union Hills. So I was just kind of going down through. Cop pulls me over in an undercover brown Crown Vic, and then on his way up, pulls a gun on me. I've had more cops pull guns on me than humans. And,
Than humans.
sorry, that was a terrible way.
They're
Than
fucking robo.
citizens.
They're
Than
robos.
citizens.
Yeah. Than citizens.
And
God
the
damn.
cop pulled a gun on me, and then that's when he started calling me a bunch of derogatory slurs. And then, he called me the R word, and the B word, and the S word, and all the fun little dime words that you can add in an essay that, and then he let me go.
Good guy.
He told me he could blow my brains out right now and no one would miss me. And I was like, Jesus fuck. I almost pissed myself. This was one of the scariest moments of my life.
He said that to you?
Yeah, the first time I ever get pulled over by a cop. I'm 18 years old. I'm just trying to get to school.
Right. Jesus Christ, man. That's heavy.
I was running late from another job. And I was just trying to get there.
Right. That's fucking bizarre.
Yeah. That was my first experience with a cop ever. That was when I was 18 years old.
Damn, man.
I'm surprised that, like, this isn't a challenge for anybody listening, but I'm surprised that I have never heard anything creative in terms of like a racial comment.
Can you elaborate? Because
Well,
I'm curious.
You know all the jokes that people have.
Right.
That's all I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard anything creative.
Oh, no.
I've been
all-
called a Chiba head before, but that was out of like a term of endearment from my friend's dad.
Chiba head?
Yeah.
That's like another word for pothead?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just because I had long hair and a goatee.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think that's relevant, but okay. I mean, it can be, I suppose, if you want to lean that far.
He told me I look like a mixture of Tommy Chong and Cheech Marin. I thought that was funny too, though. I've been told that by a lot of other people.
Do you still have any issues, or?
Every now and then I had an issue last week. That's what made me think of all of this. Just, I don't have anyone calling me the N-word anymore.
Is that when you
That's
hit?
kinda,
Is that when you hit me up?
yeah, because I was so angry that I wanted to go off, and I was like, I'm just gonna.
Well, I'm glad you stuck to it.
Oh yeah, no,
I was worried that you were just gonna text me the next day and be like, "Oh, never mind."
no, and also like trying to figure out when we were gonna do all of this. I wasn't trying to say I was still thinking about it. I was just saying like, I'm still trying to figure out my time. Time just worked out really well.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, no, I
was just being an asshole.
I understand.
It's like a job.
No, that's very true. And also, I hit you up, so.
I was gonna say, I think from what I remember, you growing up, you know how your looks kind of develop a certain way as you're growing up. I think mine. I think I've probably fallen where I'm gonna stop at this point.
The cowboy shit.
My looks.
You got good looks.
I just. He's nice, isn't he, folks?
I'm really glad that you didn't stay with a 3 days grace vibe.
Yeah, me neither. Or me too.
It turns out it was a phase.
It was just a phase.
I mean, to be fair, like I do like wearing flannels. I do like wearing 501s because they're really comfortable, and I'm a wider person, so 501s just fit nicer.
I was gonna say, watching you grow up, you look, you carry yourself and you clean up. I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck I'm trying to say.
I dress clean. I don't dress like a fucking scumbag or anything like
So
that.
people, one of the things that I've kind of held high, I don't remember where I heard it. It was probably after high school, but at some point in time, somebody told me, carry yourself and present yourself the way you want to be seen. If you want to be seen as a professional, then if I'm gonna dress like this for the rest of my fucking life, like a fucking child with flat bills on, then I'm gonna clean it up as best as I can.
Well, yeah, 100%.
And I'm gonna make sure that my articles of clothing are fresh and clean. So if that's my style, then I'm gonna do it right. If this is your style, you fucking definitely do it right because you look fucking professional.
Thank you. So, okay, that's the other weird thing, though. Okay, so if I dress down, like if I'm dressing like joggers and like a black T-shirt,
Russian Mafia.
no, I just
Sorry.
not Adidas, or Adidas.
Adidas?
Adidas is the way they say it.
Adidas.
No, they, no, they, like, so if I dress down, then I'm just dressing like a lazy Mexican. then I get called a lazy Mexican a lot more.
That's so bizarre.
If I dress like this is a fucking clean shirt.
Mm-hmm.
This is a high quality fucking fantastic shirt.
Yeah, it's a good looking shirt.
I get called a cholo. So there's no winning in terms of whether or not I dress good or bad.
Right.
But the better I dress, the more I just get called like a high profile gangster.
Mm-hmm.
And if I dress lower, then I get called a fucking thug. So there's no. I wore the first time I wore a flannel to my work that I work here now. My supervisor, who doesn't work there anymore,
Good for him.
he told. I'll tell you off record what happened.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
No hot micing on that one.
God, I love it.
They told he looked at me because I just wore a black and white flannel. Like it was cold outside.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like cold enough to wear a jacket. So I was like, well, I can just wear my flannel. Why not? And when I go to work, he's like, what are you, some type of thug?
Yeah,
I'm wearing a
dumbass.
fucking flannel. The white guys over there are wearing flannels. Why can't I wear a flannel?
Did you have glasses at this time?
No, I just got glasses like in the last year.
So the glasses really sets you apart.
Probably.
Okay, put them back on. No, I'm just kidding. That's so bad. I shouldn't make that joke.
No. Okay, but here's a massive difference.
Uh-huh.
Like if you know the person and like they're definitely okay and confident and like they can make the same jokes towards you as what you make towards them and
Mm-hmm.
all of those like little nuances that are extremely important, then it's all acceptable. It's when I don't know you and you think immediately the
Right.
best way,
Draw your line, dude.
like, hey man, we gotta enjoy each other. We gotta have a couple conversations. You gotta know me a little more before we can just start making like little racy jokes, because I gotta know that you're actually being funny and not
Facetious.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like it. There's a lot of nuance in making jokes like that, and I stay away from a lot of them because I understand. But with that being said, like if I'm around you, like I kind of make a couple jokes.
We all do.
Yeah, we all do it because it's a part of our lives.
I'm honky in the family. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Like, I remember growing up, I would tell everybody that I'm a graham cracker because I don't know how to speak Spanish.
Oh my God, you told people that?
Well, but everyone's making jokes about me.
That is hilarious.
If everyone's calling me a fucking beaner, I'm like, I'm not a bean. I'm a fucking graham cracker.
Oh my God, I love it.
Like, you know how many times I got called a fucking coconut growing up?
Coconut?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
oh my God. This episode is going to bring... I hope it doesn't bring any backlash, but it might.
I mean, I just explained the whole reason on, like, which, like, don't get me wrong, I'm never going to stop working hard or, like, my whole goal is to just, like, it's just bringing awareness to the fact that, like, you can't just make little offhanded comments, and maybe if you think something might be offensive, it probably would be.
I think at the very core of this, the preventative solution would be to
just respect people.
I was just gonna say just a little bit more respect, you know.
Like it really makes a difference.
Until you're on a personal level, then maybe don't.
Well, it's like okay, so
maybe don't judge. And I actually have a really good example of that. But
I have a good example of that too. Actually, you just reminded me of. So I went to California a couple of years ago, and it was just like. I went there with somebody, and my watch just told me to keep walking, you fat fuck.
You have been inactive for an hour.
I went there with an old friend, and we were kind of just cruising around, looking at stuff like Hollywood Boulevard and all that. I had to get gas, and when I had to get gas, I went inside for like an energy drink or something. I don't remember what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I saw these two really big black guys, and my first thought was like, I am just gonna try to be respectful.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I was in LA and I was thinking of like, yeah, gang violence is kind of up right now. I don't want to be a fucking target, whatever. Not my state. I don't know how people do it here.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them looked at me and was like, oh, excuse me, sir.
Right.
And like went through me and was like, oh, you're okay, dog. And I was like, oh, I'm more. They're probably more scared of me at this point than I am of them.
Right.
Like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just fucking judged them, and that's when I realized like judging off of demeanor, not by looks,
Mm-hmm.
and that's also a large portion of it. Is like, if someone's walking up to you and they look angry, probably be a little more cautious than the person that, like, if someone's wearing a hoodie, fucking
If they walk up
be
to
a little
you,
more cautious about them.
if there's purpose in the step, regardless of color.
But if someone looking like they're just spacing out and it's kind of cold outside, so they got their hood up, that's a lot different. If someone's like fucking hooded down, looking like a goblin chasing you,
Goblin.
run away.
Oh.
Don't fucking.
Yeah, last night, me and my lady went out for dinner, and we were standing there trying to make our reservation or get in line or whatever.
Yeah.
And I pulled out my phone, put my phone back in my pocket. My debit card went flying out, and I didn't know. Well, there was 2 dudes next to me. I shit you not. If I would not have had this experience, I would have automatically assumed cholos. 100%. One of them was wearing a fucking rosary.
Yeah.
With face tats, and I'm like, I'm cool because like I know people of all walks of life,
Yeah.
and I don't assume that person's gonna be an asshole, but you look a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Drop my debit card, and one of the guys turns to me and he goes, "Hey, dude, drop your debit card." I'm like, "You son of a bitch."
You're such a nice person.
Great. Now I'm the asshole.
But like,
no, but it's
obviously
so
you're gonna,
it's so cool that regardless of possibly gang affiliation, even in fucking whites, that there's still a level of human involved.
Oh, 100%. Well, it's okay. So a good way to explain a lot of stuff is like back in the day when there was like everyone had limited amounts of stuff and that's what everybody was wearing because like so for instance like you can use like black people or cholos or even white people.
Mm-hmm.
You were limited by what was in your neighborhood. So if your neighborhood's only selling fucking Dickies and Cholo and like Charlie Browns and like the certain flannels and stuff like that, you're gonna wear that. But also, a lot of those people were just mechanics,
Right.
and like it's the same with black culture. A lot of them like to wear like they used to wear overalls and shit like that. They wore overalls because they were just blue collar workers too.
They were.
A lot of white people,
Which are also historically harder workers.
100%. Well, just blue collar workers in general are fucking. They're definitely. I love the fact that blue collar work is getting scarce. Like in terms of like people that want to do it.
Tradesmen?
Yes, I'm so glad that tradesmen is getting more scarce because that means I make more money for doing a job that I just enjoy.
Your position is not fillable as easily as it was.
Nope. And
So.
you know what? It is my benefit now.
Yeah. I love it.
Thank you guys for choosing white collar jobs. Those of you out there.
Yeah, good luck. Keep working from home. Pussy. Probably shouldn't have said that. I'm not going to lie.
I'm also scared for the robots because they're definitely going to take over eventually.
This conversation took a turn.
Well, what do you want to expect? Honestly, I'll be racist against robots. What are they going to do? Beat the living shit out of me? They're going to win.
You can't be racist against robots. They
Well-
have no... Is that a race?
It will be in like the next 50 years.
Great. Oh, gray. That's what it is.
Grays?
Gray.
That's okay. That sounds.
We just went sci-fi.
I don't want sci-fi racism either. That's.
Elon, please don't off me.
I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I will be as whatever new species of
Grays.
interact
that's
with us.
That's an alien. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the grays and the greens are aliens. We just took another turn. Also, if any aliens are listening or if they're coming down, one, thank you for tuning into the Me vs. Me podcast. We appreciate your listening.
Yeah.
Two,
Hope my radio waves make it there.
as long as you guys come in peace, I will give you a nice little tater tot casserole.
Look, you see that scale right there on the
Which
screen?
scale?
At
Yeah.
the very beginning?
Yeah,
That's your laugh.
the
It's gone now.
the high pitched one.
It's the one that you scale up. Like that. See? I told you. It was pretty good. It's very cut.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You could sample that.
Hell yeah, I could.
That's no.
Great TikTok. Here I come.
I feel like my laugh is I get told my laugh is contagious, and then I heard it on the last episode I was on, and I'm like, God, that sounds kind of annoying. I feel it, but like not as annoying as Bert Kreischer, but like more like.
You know what? His shit was funny in the beginning. I'm not bagging on Bert because I love Bert.
Bert's a great person.
His laugh was funny in the beginning, but now every time he does it, I'm like,
I have to take my earbuds off.
I'm like,
because
yes. I'm like,
they hurt.
I'm like, can you breathe? Stop talking.
And then like, whoops. And then No, like I don't know. Like there's definitely a lot more stories in which I've had to just like I said, I've been called the N-word a lot, and I don't know
Yeah,
where.
that's so bizarre.
It's mainly like really, really, really white people, like people that have like generational wealth that just like through nepotism becomes like another CEO of a company or like high-ranking managerial position.
Mm-hmm.
Like people that just never really had to work or whatever.
Money talks for them.
Yeah, and so I've noticed people like or just real down bad like
Mm-hmm.
trailer park
Oh, just you can
stuff
say
like that.
we're gonna
Like,
talk about white trash. I'm fine with that.
yeah, like complete. And by the way, if you're just making it work, there's a way difference. Like there's 10 degrees to everything, and and
Fuck me, man. I was
there's
an asshole for that one too.
what 10 degrees.
No, continue.
But like
move forward like nobody heard what I said.
White trash.
Yes.
Oh, I heard it.
Oh,
That's why I brought up 10 degrees to everything.
Yeah, he's covered my ass. Again, I would just like to reiterate that we don't hate. We don't. We don't.
We're not discriminatory. We're not anything like that.
We're not. We're just open. We grew up in a very open family, very diverse family, with all different races, all different makes and models and years. So, it's in our nature to make fun. So.
It really is that, and
Don't cancel me. I'm sorry.
but we're also not going to attack people without knowing them.
right.
Like
That's a whole different topic.
it's, I know there was a kid that got way better grades than me, and actually did like I think he has like a master's degree now. He had the craziest like southern accent, and when I first met him, it was like freshman sophomore year. I thought he was an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Like wholeheartedly, I was just like, yeah, he's southern. He's not smart. That dude is fucking intelligent. Like,
They're smart.
did you know that the South has some of the like, what is that, highest performing universities?
Yeah, I did know that. I can't specify, but I do know that.
Don't quote me on any actual statistics, but yeah, no, it's really interesting though, like to like look at this sounds terrible to look at someone and then like get to know them and notice that they're a way different kind of person.
No, that doesn't sound terrible. And regardless, I'm going to say it, regardless of what anybody wants to say or what kind of backlash I'm going to receive for this. Like I would say like 95% of people read the cover of a book and assume they know the book.
Well, yeah, it's
You know what I mean? So, and then the interesting point is what you learn after the fact.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite things, to be honest with you. Because if I make that mistake, I'm hoping to God that person is going to prove me fucking wrong.
I get proven wrong a lot about people.
Yeah.
It's
one of my favorite things.
I'm also one of the
Except for Brandon.
Brandon confuses the shit out of
He
me.
he looks the way he sounds and he sounds the way he looks. So fuck that guy. I'm kidding. I love you, Brandon. I love you, Brandon.
Brandon's what? Okay.
Oh God.
I don't even think Brandon's gonna listen to this, but like if you do, like fuck you, Brandon.
Stetson's gonna tell him.
I mean, I kind of hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sheldon listens every now and then too. Shout
out to Sheldon.
What is it called? Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna see him later tonight, so he's definitely gonna be like, hey, thank you for being nice to me. I'm gonna continue being nice to you, Stetson. You're a cool person. But, Brandon, him and I have both kind of dated like the full spectrum of what you can expect out of like basic personalities in women.
Mm-hmm.
I have to specify women because I don't fucking know anymore. I don't know what people assume anymore in their thought processes. But we both did like the full spectrum of women, from like chubby chaser, to like really, really like anorexic skinny, and everything in between, and along with like personality, like scene girl, scary Latina.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. And in doing all of that, he's settled on like women that look like linebackers.
You can't say that.
Why not?
I don't know.
Very curvaceous women.
Brandon did?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, I've figured it. If you ever find a lady that is curvaceous and had, like, you know, wide shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
wide
They're
hips.
beautiful in their own right.
I mean, they're not bad. I'll personally say, like, they're another flavor that I can get accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, Brandon fucking loves it. So if you find, like, a big titty goth bitch with
Wow.
I've been very PC for a while here, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This one we might have to mark explicit.
You might, just because of the context. There might have to be a trigger warning at the beginning of this one,
Shit.
which you can put. Well, we did talk about a sensitive subject. That
Yeah. Yeah, I'll edit that one in.
if you can find a curvaceous country woman that's okay with a blue collar man, he would fucking love you for it.
Oh, he's in need. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, he's a single guy.
Yeah, okay.
He works a lot, so she has to be okay with the fact that he works a lot.
He works a lot. He works at the fucking body shop. No, I'm kidding. I don't know where he works.
I think he works like 5 or 6 tens. Or no, he works like 5 tens,
Bitch.
5 11s. I'm only working 8 hours right now. I'm honestly loving the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah, what's that like?
Oh my god.
I'm not even being an asshole. I'm like,
It's
I wouldn't know what to do with my time, dude.
so well. First off, I take a nap and then I get all the things I need to do done. Like I'll do my dishes, I'll clean my house, I'll do my laundry.
Okay, you know what I don't want to know? Just shut the fuck up.
You know what's crazy about it? I just installed a fucking lockbox today because I had free time.
You free time?
I had free time.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Makes me want to unalive myself.
I want to find a new term instead of that one because I feel like everyone's using it, and it's
Unalive, yeah.
like
It's been exploited.
it's been exploited. I want to think of a new one.
Um.
Commit adultery to a rope.
Oh, what the fuck, man? Commit adultery to a rope? I mean, you're not wrong, I guess, if you think about it.
Honestly, like,
I'll stick my neck in that hole.
I mean, if you're into being choked, that would be a good way to go out. Just like have a little diddle while you.
We're not going to talk about these terms on here.
Okay.
No more diddle.
Okay.
On that note,
It's probably a good time to end. I think we've exacerbated this.
we're pushing our boundaries quite a bit.
Yeah, we are.
So, yeah.
I appreciate you guys listening in on my little rant about people saying things to me.
This is definitely one time, if you made it this far, I would encourage questions, comments, concerns, anything that you would want to add, or any questionable material. I would rather hear it first than have this go the full distance and end in probably litigation, but we're not going to go that far, hopefully.
Also, if you appreciate more rantiness, like for instance, if you enjoy like a 2-hour podcast as opposed to a 1-hour podcast that's just cut and dry.
Yeah.
Like if you enjoy the little like ADD rants that go on,
If you like the spicy, then not the spicy. That's a new word
don't.
too.
You've been listening to me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. If that's what entertains you, then feel free to let me know also. And maybe we can make some episodes a little bit more edgy, whatever.
I'm so down for edgy episodes.
I know you fucking are, dude. You and Dustin. Just fucking eating at me. Anyway, questions, comments, concerns. Your input is welcome. Please send me your input. meversusmeinfo@gmail.com. Me vs. Me podcast on Facebook. Me vs. Me pod on Instagram. Check it out. All the blips. Hopefully soon video, bloopers. You can also check us out, obviously, on Spotify, Apple Podcast. Google Podcast, anywhere you listen to your local podcast. Working on YouTube still. That one's going to be a son of a bitch. So anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a good weekend. We love you.